Hey guys, I want to introduce you to Rocket.net. They are a super fast WordPress managed hosting provider who I use for my business and all my clients. In fact, Entrepreneur's Enigma's website runs on Rocket. Rocket is not only one of the fastest hosts out there for WordPress websites, they are extremely reliable, knowledgeable, and there for you when you need them. I've been in the WordPress web design world for more than 15 years. I've used a bunch of hosting providers in the past, but none have nearly been as good as Rocket, nor have they been reliable enough. I wouldn't trust my website to anyone else. We all know stuff happens online. Rocket has always had my back when I get stuck on something, and something happens with an update or something gets hacked. Rocket support is fast, and the reps are beyond fluent in the WordPress CMS, so they can solve the most complex issues quickly and effectively. So go check them out. Give them a shot. Go to gmedia.sh/rocket. That's gmedia.sh/rocket. Use the code Enigma. That's the Enigma, Enigma, at checkout and get 50% off the first 3 months of hosting. So that's Enigma, Enigma, and get 50% off the first 3 months of hosting. Trust me, you'll be glad you moved to Rocket. I sure am.
You're listening to Entrepreneur's Enigma, a podcast about the ups and downs of the entrepreneurial journey. Every week, your host Seth Goldstein interviews entrepreneurs from all walks of life about their entrepreneurial journeys. From store owners to Fortune 500 CEOs, we all have stories to tell. So sit back and join us for the next 20 or so minutes while we explore the entrepreneurial world.
Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneur's Enigma podcast. As always, I'm Seth. You know me by now. It's a 250 episode, so go figure. You should know who I am by now. If you're not, hi, I'm Seth. Nice to meet you. Anyhow, today I have Susan Caso. I said right?
Yep.
Good. She is the author of this fabulous book. So this display right here, the Vanna White kind of thing, if you're watching the video. The Parent-Teen Connection, How to Build Lifelong Family Relationships, a Parent's Guide. So she's even got a subtitle, because the Parent's Guide is like the 2 levels down. I digress. I digressed. And she's also got it on the wall behind her, so I can lay mine down at this point. So Susan helps people find the feeling of connection that creates heartfelt interactions. She's very big on family relationships, and we all know if you have kids, how hard that is to keep that going. I have an 11-year-old, and oh my God, it can be challenging at times to kind of keep the positive relationship going when they are hormonal beyond belief, and they don't know the top from their bottom half the time, and it's insane. But she is a board member and mental health director at the Liv Project, which is a great organization to help prevent teen suicides and literally help kids kind of cope. Because, I mean, you think being adulting is tough. And it is. I'm not going to lie. Being an adult sucks sometimes. But being a kid, not really knowing what the hell is going on with the world and your body, and why your parents are telling you to do something and not wanting to agree with, being a teenager sucks. It does. I mean, there's some fond memories I have of being a teenager, and there's a lot of like, oh my God, I was a snot. That's all I remember. So yeah. Susan, how are you doing today? You have kids of your own, right? You have like an 11-year-old, don't you, if I remember?
I do. I have 25, 21, and 11.
So you're a glutton for punishment, pretty much is what it is.
Yeah, I pushed the reset
And they're
button.
all girls, right? And I remember from previous conversation, they're all girls, right?
The middle one, the 21-year-old's a boy.
Oh, so
Or a man, really, right?
A man? No, they're always. I'm a 43-year-old boy. Males don't become men. We're just big kids.
Yeah. What age do you think that happens? When's the transition to a man?
I don't know. I'm still a kid. I'm still a kid. Kid at heart. That's what I gotta say. So, but yeah. So how did this all get started? I mean, clearly you wrote the book on the parent-teen connection. I mean, clearly, you have experience in the parent-teen connection. Like how does all begin? Like, how did you get interested in all this?
Well, I've been a therapist for over 20 years, working with teens and young adults.
That's brave.
Yeah, no, I love my job. I think teens are amazing. I think they're interesting. I think we need to really embrace that age
Yeah.
group as calling them rebellious.
The rebellious, but in a fun way. My kid, like, he's rebellious, but then you kind of look at him like sometimes they're smarter because they're less hindered by society's norms. It's like when they become 21 and 25, like your older kids, I feel like that's when it gets more. I guess I could say that they're rebellious, but they're less boring as teenagers. There's nothing boring about a teenager.
No, they're really interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think they get a bad rap still, you know? I
Sometimes deserved. Sometimes deserved at times. Other times it's like, this kid's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think we just have to really lean into it.
Well, I like that you got to lean into their teenagehood. I mean, we've all been through it. You can't get to adulthood if you haven't been a teen first. So that's kind of wild.
This is
So,
true.
so what made you write this book? I mean, obviously 20 years in the space, and you clearly know a thing or two.
Yeah, I was looking at what I do in session to create safety at home
Mhm.
there's a lot of disconnection that happens during the teen years because there's this fight. Like teens want autonomy, they want some
Yeah.
freedom, and parents are trying to keep them safe. So I really looked at what I'm doing in session with teens to create that positive connection at home and put it in a
Yeah.
book so I could reach more people.
I love that because a lot of people don't realize that books are the best way to kind of get out in front of people. I mean, I lie because podcasts are also a pretty good medium to get in front of people as well. But when you think about it, you can, like, you're in Colorado, for example. I mean, now with Zoom, it's not as true as much anymore, but like it used to be hard. Like I couldn't have a session with you because you're in Colorado, I'm in Philadelphia. Now with Zoom, it kind of works out. You can kind of bend that the wormhole a little bit, for lack of a better word. But still, I mean, having a book is great because you can go to a conference and hand your book out. Say, hey, here's my book. I know a thing or two. My knowledge is in this book. And your kids can also say, my mom wrote a book, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. 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 My son posted one of my uh, little social media
Oh,
posts and go mom on it. I was just like, oh, thanks,
that's
Jack.
sweet. That's ours. Maybe he's adulting a little bit more now. That's pretty cool. Proud,
Yeah,
proud son.
he's a senior at Old Miss right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still okay. He's adult lighting. I call that.
Yeah.
When you're in college, it's adult light. You can get in trouble, but not as bad in college. I feel like you can figure yourself out. And my son is 11. I'm talking to him, and he's like, "I don't want to go to college. I'm going to be done after high school." I'm like, "If you want to, fine. We'll figure that out when we get to that point." But I went to the University of Delaware to grow up. Like I went to Delaware, and that's where I grew up. I didn't grow up in high school. I grew up on my own, figuring out, oh no, I have to go to the grocery store to feed myself. Like this, like, yeah, academics are great, but college is great for learning how to actually keep yourself alive and
Yeah.
responsibility
You definitely have to
without losing a
yourself.
job, that kind of thing. So it's wild.
Yeah.
So you're also the board member and mental health director over the Live Project. Let's talk about that a little bit. What is the Live Project?
Our mission is to turn the tide of youth suicide. And we
Mm,
have film, we have a game. We do panel discussions. We do private screenings with the film, and then we do a panel discussion afterwards. And
yeah,
it's amazing what happens to people. They just start turning to each other and started talking about their own mental health.
that's great. Yeah,
Parents, when they attend with their kids, they start talking to them like, hey, have you ever had thoughts of self-harm or suicide? And it just
It's
really opens up
amazing. Yeah.
it's amazing.
It's amazing how I feel like it's a big topic now because a lot of people don't realize, or they don't. I don't think they don't realize. They think they don't remember what it's like to be a teenager. I mean, I'm 43. I don't. I remember some of the angst. I don't remember all the angst. It's I'm not even gonna try to do the math. I'm terrible at math. But I'm like more than 30 years past being a teenager, give or take a year or two, and I don't remember the nitty gritty of things. I don't remember the nitty gritty of anything past like 3 years ago, let alone pre-college. So it's like that kind of thing. So, but then my son's going through, my kid's 11 and, it's just starting the teenage years. And it's amazing because you can look at your kid and think, oh, everything's okay. But is it?
Yeah, you got to ask them.
You
Yeah,
ask
for
them,
sure.
everything okay?
It's really hard being a teenager. It's not like when we were teenagers, although I'm
And
like a
it
decade.
was hard. It's also was hard when we were, it was hard when we were teenagers too. It's different. It's different. It's more like they're out there more than we were. Like we drank from the water hose. Maybe got lead poisoning. Maybe that explains a lot. But other than that, like it's not like the world's different than it was back then. It was different back then than when our parents were kids, and so on and so forth. That kind of thing. So it's wild.
Yeah.
So have you been an entrepreneur this whole time, or have you been in other settings? Like, I mean, the Live Project, you're the mental health director, but you're also doing your own counseling practice and all that. You're an author, all that stuff. But like, were you ever like in a clinic before, like, or have you always
Long,
been on your own?
no, a long time ago, I worked for Catholic Charities for 6 years in Denver.
Oh wow,
And then, after that, I did start my private practice. And that wasn't too hard, actually, because you can rent like an office space. You don't have to
it's
have a
easy.
lot of, there's little risk, right? You
Yeah.
pay per month. But I do have to say the book was probably, it's a big risk and I'm not a risk taker.
Oh
Yeah,
really?
it does cost money, and
It
so
does.
luckily, my husband's a risk taker, so he's the one he's like, "We're doing this, you do this," and I was like, "Okay," because I was a bit nervous, to spend the money and the time and,
Is this
you know,
self-published or is this like published by a publishing house?
Radius Book Group
Oh,
is
there you go. So you had some support along the way, which is nice.
yeah, I actually didn't start writing until the end of March of 2023, so this
Oh,
happened super fast. I was on a mission to get this done.
talk about hyper focus.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Sit
I was
down, bang it out. Then I mean, writing is only half of the process. Writing is like the first part, but then editing is the most painful part, I find. Like, I'm sure the book was a lot thicker than it is now because it's like everything went into it, and you're like, well, I only need half of this. And you're like, but that's half of my thoughts.
That was hard. I wrote the first draft in 5 months, and then we
Wow.
edited for months and over and over, and I'm not a perfectionist by any means, but at one point, I asked the publisher, I said, "Is this what it feels like to be a perfectionist?" He goes, "It is hard because it's like every sentence, like, it could be better," or, it was hard to just
Or
say,
change this
"Hey."
one word, and it's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
my God, one word, what's it matter? And they're like, well, one word matters sometimes.
Yeah, it's true. So, but at some point, I just had to back off and go, "Okay, it's gotta be good enough. I can't do
Yeah.
anymore."
Yeah, eventually
Yeah.
it's like, okay, and you put it out there, and you just hope that no one emails you saying you missed a comma somewhere. And I see that. I mean, I read books all the time, as you can see. I read all these tech books and stuff like that. And then I always find, oh no, they missed a word, or there's a spacing issue here, and I'm like, I'm not telling them. They are done. Keep it quiet. That kind of thing. Exactly. But so you've been on your own for a while. You said 20 years in private practice. What is the best thing about doing your own thing versus, I guess, working for bigger organization?
Well, I do have more flexibility because I'm a mom of 3, even though I only have 1 home now, but
Yeah, you're still mom of 3. You're a mom of 3 until you push up daisies.
yeah,
Even then, you're still a mom of 3. Like, you're always, I mean, especially 21. Yeah, he's
yeah,
still a kid. Don't tell him that, but he's not an adult yet. Your frontal medulla doesn't fully form in dudes until I think 25 or something like that.
true. Yes. Very true.
So you're a mom of 3, my friend. You're a mom of 3.
Yeah. Yeah. So, there's more flexibility. I can
Yeah.
schedule just my clinical hours and then go home, do paperwork or whatever I need to do and have more time with the family.
You
So
field
that would be,
hockey, sledding, all that fun
yep.
stuff.
Yeah. 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 I don't know how families do it where both parents work full time. I think one person has to have some sort of flexibility to pick them up from school or take them to
Yeah.
practices, make
Or if
dinner.
they work full time, they have to have an understanding boss that is like, all right, this is my reality. I need to get off to get to the bus stop so that I can get the kid home. But nowadays, we were talking about this before with the whole Zoom thing, is that even if you work in office, because there's a big return to office phenomenon going on here, you can
Right.
still say, I need to leave by 3, but I'll tune back in. I'll get back on the work at 7 and work for another hour to cover that hour I had to take off. And I feel like people are more open to that somewhat because there's some flexibility to be had, and some bosses aren't, and then you're not in the right position. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's tough, especially the teenage years. You have to be around in some way, shape, or form. And I remember we were talking in the pre-call a few weeks ago about how my 11-year-old is very much into Roblox and he's into Minecraft. Thankfully, I have not figured out why his Fortnite is broken. And literally, it's not a dad saying, I don't want to, it's broken in quotes. No, it's literally broken. He's getting error code all the time. It's dad saying he doesn't want, saying, I don't know what's wrong with it when I could possibly figure out why it's wrong. It's just one less thing he needs to be playing, that kind of thing.
Yeah. 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 Screen hopping. That's what the kids do for
Is that what
sure.
it's called? Screen hopping. Like, we used to
That's what I
we
call
used to
it.
channel surf. We used to channel surf, and they do screen hopping. I like that. I like that. I like that. It's a good term.
Yeah.
So
My daughter will
that's
be done watching TV and then she'll grab my phone because she doesn't have a phone. And
oh
we'll play
wow.
screen hopping. Let's
We're gonna take a quick break here from our sponsors and get right back to the show.
do
So you'll
something
grab your
else.
phone. My son, we finally got him a phone. He's had a phone for a while, but it's always been like on Wi-Fi phone. So we finally got him a phone, and yesterday I found out how handy it is because we were late to get to the bus stop, and I wrote him, I'm like, just hang tight, we're coming. And
Yeah.
the benefits of having a phone is good, but we have a rule. Number one, it's on airplane mode at school, and you can use it on the bus because, 'cause he gets annoyed by other kids sometimes. The school zone out on the bus, don't miss your stop kind of thing. And don't lose your phone. But like ultimately, he's a good kid. Yeah. And I don't let him on social media other than YouTube, where apparently the kid has 700 subscribers to his little Roblox dance videos. He doesn't show his face, but he has these Roblox
Oh,
guys doing little emojis, and he has 700 subscribers watch this stuff. I don't get it. I
wow.
don't get it. I'm an old fuddy duddy. I don't get how I have 50 on my podcast stream, on YouTube. Subscribe and like and subscribe, people, everyone. But he says 700 for doing little dances on Roblox. Not even TikTok, like him doing it. It's his character doing it, and he puts popular music on it, and for a minute, which is under the threshold of a DMCA, and he knows that it's under the threshold of DMCA, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, but he knows all this stuff, and I'm like, how do you know this stuff? Kids are amazing.
Maybe you need to hire him to get more followers.
I might actually, seriously, if he's gonna maybe do dances and stuff. I don't want to do that, but that's wild. So when did you join up with the Live Project? When did that happen?
It's coming up on 6 years.
Oh wow.
What happened is the producer, Paula Pessman Dupre, she's produced, gosh, Harry Potter
Oh
movies.
wow.
She's big time. She's a Grammy-Award winning
Yeah.
producer. She reached out to me and said, I want to do a film on suicide and I need some help because I want to do it in the safest way possible.
Yeah.
I had actually had a dream many years prior and sent her an email saying, would you ever consider doing a documentary on suicide? And she never responded. So when she sent me this email asking me to help her, I sent her that email back that I'd sent her years ago. And I said, of course I would. I had a dream and asked you if you would do a documentary.
You almost like you manifested it.
Isn't that crazy?
On a delayed reaction, though. I mean, usually manifestation, you want it to happen sooner. But all right, so a few years have passed, whatever. That's wild. That's incredible.
Yeah, yeah. And so,
And then how did you find the Live project through that?
So basically, the family who lost their daughter, their sister, to suicide, the film is about her. The older sister tells the story. It's absolutely beautiful and so powerful. And then they decided to start the Live project.
Yeah, and that's how I met you, was through Amanda Solar, who was
Right,
doing marketing for the Live project.
right. She's the director of our mission. Yeah.
It's great. I mean, I haven't seen the movie yet. I'm gonna try and get a point to where I can go see it, but it is a needed topic to talk about. I mean, I'm working with a startup that talks about the end of life, death, and how it shouldn't be a taboo. Talking about this stuff shouldn't be a taboo either. It should be something that is open conversation with your kids and with your parents and with everybody. Because I was just listening to the latest Linkin Park album, because Chester Benningfield committed suicide in 2017. They went on hiatus for a while because they lost the lead. They all were devastated. And then they came back with Emily, I don't know her last name. And I was talking about how, wow, she really does, him justice and stuff. But it's like, suicide affects so many people and it needs to be discussed.
It's a ripple effect. Yeah. And when we struggle, we tend to hide and isolate, and that means we disconnect from those around us. But
exactly what you're not supposed to do.
Right.
Exactly.
What we need most is connection. And so we have to talk to our kids like, hey, if this ever happens to you, if you ever have thoughts of self-harm or suicide, please come talk to me about it.
Yeah.
If I can't help you, I'll go with you to get help. That we have to be talking to our kids about how they feel.
And it's tough.
Struggling with.
It's tougher than the birds and the bees, and that was painful.
Yeah, because it's kind of a constant thing. You have to continually talk to your kids about
the birds and bees, you suffer for maybe 30 minutes and it's done. And hopefully they remember it and all that. But this is constant, like you said.
Right.
Like
that's really the purpose of the book, is so parents can learn how to create safe spaces at home. Have a deep sense of belonging and healthy communication and connection and emotional connection, where it's just kind of easy. This is what we do at home. We talk about how we feel, if we're struggling.
And it's tough in America too, because people don't like to talk about how they feel, and it's the wrong way about going about it. So
right.
So we already discussed what the best thing is about being an entrepreneur. What keeps you up at night as an entrepreneur? I mean, obviously your kids and making sure that they're, doing well and are talking to you and all that. But what keeps you up at night, business wise?
Well, right now the book and
your other baby, yeah,
is keeping me up at night. Like how do I get the book into hands of families right now, right? Because I know it makes a difference. I even had a woman read the book, and 10 days later, she's like, I've been implementing, what you're talking about in the book. My stepson actually asked me to go to breakfast with him on Sunday. He's like, it works. Oh my gosh. And then her spouse was right there tearing up. Like, we have less conflict now because really we were just arguing about our teenager.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's usually the cause for most parents is arguing. It's not money or finances. I mean, that is one of the reasons. It's the damn kid. And why is he or she or they or them or any of those verbs,
right?
Verbs, adjectives, whatever, nouns, pronouns. I was gonna get to it eventually. Jeez. Like I said earlier, talking is hard today, but literally, getting through to your kids and then having, especially when you're in a dual parent household, conflicting on like, well, you should have done this. When like, well, I didn't think that was the right way, and having discussions as parents on how to parent the kid can be a source of frustration.
Right. Right.
That's
It's
awesome.
true. It's like one of the biggest things is parenting,
Parenting
arguing
is
over.
tough.
It
People
is
don't
very
realize how people think that toddlars are tough. Toddlers get into everything. I mean, and they poop, and I mean, I would love to go back to my kid being a toddler again, just for a day, because him being a teenager, I think one of the hardest things, because they're growing up, and you don't have as much control over that. You
That's
blink, and
right.
the next day you walk downstairs and they're another 2 inches taller, and you're like, what happened there? How are you
Yeah.
tall? Why is your voice? Wait, why does your voice sound like a frog now? I mean,
Yeah.
granted, my kid always sounded like he smokes 12 packs a day since he was a toddler. He always has had a very raspy voice, but it's getting deeper, and I'm like, stop growing up. You used to be cute. Now you smell.
One day I was, my son was reaching in the pantry and he was bending over and I said, "Oh, you got something on the back of your leg. You've got some dirt there." And he's like, "What is it?" And it was hair. Like, I was like,
Like,
Wait a second. You have hair on your leg now."
you're like, oh no, exactly. So here's the question of the ages here, of the podcast, not the ages, but the question of for the podcast here. What is the most important thing to carry with you all the time? Besides your
great
book.
question.
Besides your
Great
book.
question. A sense of purpose.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I get in my head a lot. I get anxious. I get the worries.
See,
What
it
have you.
happens to the therapist too.
Oh my gosh, I can show up so differently when my anxiety's running and I get word salad and my, self-esteem can just plummet, And so
Yeah.
I do kind of keep what's my sense of purpose, especially around this book, because I can tend to get really nervous when I public speak because
Yeah.
I
You're
have
just a
people left.
one-on-one. You're just a one-on-one in a room talking
Oh,
to.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have to keep that kind of my North Star. What's my
Love it.
purpose? Yeah.
That's fantastic. So Susan, where can people hang out with you online? Are you on LinkedIn a lot, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff? Well, hopefully not Twitter as much.
I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram, Susan.Caso, Caso. My website's susancaso.com.
You're
You can get the
branded
book.
very nicely. There you go.
Thank you. You can get the book wherever books are sold, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Pick up this book, everybody. Susan, this has been so much fun.
Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Oh, it was my pleasure. And we'll see everyone next time.
That was a great show. If you're enjoying Entrepreneur's Enigma, please consider giving us a review in the podcast directory of your choice. Every review helps us reach new listeners. If you like Entrepreneur's Enigma, consider the other shows on the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcast.net.
Goldstein Media hopes you have enjoyed this episode.